Proof the Bible is the truth. Centuries before it happened, the Bible said Europa would conquer the entire world. Daniel spake and said, I saw my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. And beheld, till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man. The man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. The king of Babylon had a dream. Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Yeshua is the stone the builders rejected. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, and power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another 3rd kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Thus he said, The 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. The whole earth. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, and the dividing of time. Gold, silver, bronze, iron, and clay. Thou art this head of gold, king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. Then you have silver, 2 arms, and behold another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. So the gold head is the Babylonian Empire. The silver chest and arms is the Persian Empire. The right arm is the Persians, the left arm is the Medes. It raised up itself on one side, the bear did, because one side was stronger than the other. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. The Persians dominated, after the Medes were dominant first. The ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. Next, the bronze thighs, the bronze loins, the bronze gonads. After this I beheld and lo another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. This is the Macedonian Greek Empire, and the Greek empires from the shattered empire of Alexander the Great. The rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, Alexander dead, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. These were they: north, south, east, west, more or less. Just like the Bible said. Iron. 4th beast, great iron teeth. So the iron legs are 2, which is interesting because the Roman Empire split into 2. The Roman Empire came after the Greek. After Alexander's empire came the Roman as the global hegemon. And it had great iron teeth. It was very powerful. And from it came iron and clay, toes. The toes of feet were a mix of those elements. 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. 10 kings of a divided Europe means 10 European empires based on Rome. The toes of the feet were part iron, part clay. Toes from the Roman legs. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, the 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. Iron, hierro, acero. Steel is iron with some flexible stuff in it, carbon. That is great iron. The Bible doesn't have the word steel, but the Bible describes steel as great iron, prophesying it how long before? Well over 1,000 years before. It predicted something stronger than iron. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, the 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, which I think I already covered. That's the Antichrist. So the 4th kingdom shall be strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And where thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So the Bible prophesied that Roman-based empires would mingle themselves with mankind, conquer mankind. But these European empires would not be united, as iron is not mixed with clay. Here we have Europa divided politically, like right before the Spanish Empire went to America, and religiously. The synagogue of Satan hired Martin Luther to divide, and of course they had other agents, and he of course pretended to hate Jews. So they persecuted their own people to hide their tracks. I already proved this in my series on how Islam was invented by Jews. Check that out. And also see my series on the overrated British Empire, which proves that Templars who became Masons, led by devil-worshipping Jews, control the world. And also East and West are divided, not just North and South. North and South are divided, Protestants versus Catholics. And among Protestants are different divisions, such as Calvinists versus Anglicans versus Lutherans. But then you have East versus West, which is nominally Orthodox versus the Catholics and the others. So Europe was very divided right before it conquered the world, because Jews of the synagogue of Satan, the elite Jews, or the so-called Illuminati, they wanted to make sure that they could keep the Europeans in check, so they had them divided before they became extremely powerful, to keep them in check. So it makes perfect sense. Now, and in this map you see China, Iran, Arabia mostly, Ethiopia, and the Congo, and Japan, and Korea blank. However, they were dominated by Europeans. For example, China was divided among Europeans, and Iran was dominated by Russians and the British. Arabs were dominated by the British. The Congo was Belgian. Ethiopia was taken by Italy briefly. Even though they failed at one point, they eventually succeeded in conquering Ethiopia. Now, what is the identity of the 10 toes from the Roman legs of iron? The 10 European empires based on Roman civilization. So this is my view on it. 1. The Iberian Empire. Spain united with Portugal once, during the unequal Iberian Union, the capital of which was Madrid, because Spaniards dominated Portugal. The Spanish emperor conquered Portugal with Moroccan help. So they can count as one of the toes together, probably the big toe, because it was the biggest empire, whether you like it or not, Brits. Spanish is Latin with Arabic influence, Portuguese is Latin with Arabic influence, and drunken influence. Lands were Roman, of course, Hispania, Lusitania, part of Hispania. Religion was and is Roman, Catholicism, of course. 2. The French Empire. Voilà. S'il vous plaît, mon ami. Ho, 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 ho. Gallia was Roman. Of course, French is Latin, but very soft, which makes it very romantic. And sexist, which makes it romantic too. Sexism is good, see. Religion, Roman Catholicism. 3. The British Empire, or as they say, the British Empire. Heavens! Bloody red. More land, much of it wastelands. If you count oceans, you'll see which one was the biggest, and that's the Spanish Empire. The British Empire was Roman-based because Romans had controlled Britain, much of it except the Pictland, and the Pictland I meant, in case I wasn't clear enough. English has a lot of Latin in it, in part from Normans, and their religion, the Anglican religion, is from Roman Catholicism. 4. The Dutch Empire. Where is it? Oh, there it is. 4. The Dutch Empire. Romans at times owned the lowlands, especially the south, and the north, well, they rampaged there once or twice to get revenge on whoever was barbaric enough to attack Rome. Dutch has much Latin in it. Well, this is obvious and most people already know, but just to be clear. 5. The German Empire. Very nice. There's much Latin in German. Das ist gut, ja. Religion, Roman Catholicism, or derived, like Lutheranism, heretical cult. Both of them are. Architecture is Roman-based. 6. The Russian Empire. Romans owned the Crimea for a while. Russia's religion is based on Rome's cult. Tsar is from Caesar. 7. The Italian Empire. Need I explain the connections to Roma? 8. The Danish Empire. Major linguistic influence, of course, Roman-derived religion. 9. The Belgian Empire. Roma owned Gallia Belgica. Architecture, religion, etc. was Roman-based. 10. The Empire of the United States of America. The Bible has proven true through the ages. I love the Bible. Adios.